Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that feels more urgent with each passing year. A subject that reaches far beyond borders, politics, or economics. We're talking about the possibility of Tehran collapsing without water, and what this means not just for Iran, but for the entire region and even the world. This issue is not a prediction meant to shock, but a wake-up call shaped by facts, patterns, and the signals the environment keeps sending us. As we explore how one of the most populated cities in the Middle East faces a water crisis that is silently tightening around its residents, you'll notice something important. This is not just a Tehran story, it is a global warning. Tehran is a city of more than 8 million people, a city that depends heavily on snowmelt from surrounding mountains, reservoirs that grow emptier each year, and infrastructure built for a climate that no longer exists. For years, the region has faced declining rainfall and rising temperatures. The city has grown faster than the natural water system can support. Iran as a whole has seen decades of drought cycles, poor water management, and a growing demand that far outpaces supply. The result is a situation where every drop is becoming more valuable and more contested. The issue goes far beyond simply running out of water. Imagine waking up to find your tap dry. Imagine public fountains shut down, agricultural fields cracking in the heat, industries grinding to a halt because factories can't function without water. When cities like Tehran get close to that threshold, the consequences ripple in every direction. Water scarcity triggers economic strain, political tension, mass migration, and social unrest. These aren't theoretical problems. They have happened in other nations, and they could happen again on a much larger scale. One of the biggest challenges Tehran faces is geography. Much of the surrounding region is semi-arid, meaning water sources rely heavily on seasonal precipitation. But over the past decades, climate change has dramatically reduced snowfall in the Alborz Mountains, where Tehran gets a significant part of its water. Less snow means less meltwater, which means reservoirs don't refill the way they used to. Rivers shrink, groundwater levels fall, and aquifers that took centuries to form are drained within a generation. On top of this, population growth has made everything worse. Tehran wasn't designed to support the number of people living there today. Rapid urbanization has added millions of new residents, each needing water for drinking, cooking, cleaning, and daily life. Multiply that demand by millions, and you get a system under extreme pressure. Even if the climate stayed stable, the infrastructure would still struggle to keep up. But the climate hasn't stayed stable. Summers are becoming hotter, winters drier, and extreme heat waves more common. When temperatures rise, people use more water, agriculture needs more irrigation, evaporation rates increase, and reservoirs lose water faster than expected. All of this creates a loop where scarcity encourages more consumption, which accelerates scarcity again. Agriculture is another major factor. Although Tehran is a city, the surrounding provinces produce food for millions. Iran's agricultural sector consumes more than 80% of the country's water, much of it wasted through outdated irrigation systems. When fields dry up and farmers cannot continue producing, the city eventually feels the impact. Food prices rise, shortages spread, and more pressure falls on already strained resources. Groundwater depletion may be the most alarming piece of the puzzle. For decades, wells across Iran have been drilled deeper and deeper to reach water that is now vanishing. Once groundwater drops below a certain point, the land above it begins to sink. Parts of Iran are experiencing land subsidence so severe that whole regions are slowly collapsing. In some places near Tehran, the ground is sinking by tens of centimeters each year. This permanently damages infrastructure, cracks roads, and destroys buildings. It also makes it even harder to store water underground in the future. When a major city like Tehran faces these challenges simultaneously, the effects pile up quickly. Water restrictions become more common. Neighborhoods experience hours or even days without running water. People begin storing water at home, increasing the risk of contamination. Hospitals worry about sanitation. Schools struggle to stay open. Businesses suffer as essential services fail. Slowly, daily life becomes unstable. The social consequences are equally significant. Water scarcity often leads to frustration and anger. Protests can erupt. Families may move away from affected regions, creating waves of internal migration. And when millions of people attempt to relocate at once, new cities face overcrowding, strained infrastructure, and rising tensions. Across the world, environmental stress has played a role in conflicts, unrest, and political instability. Tehran's crisis could follow that same pattern. Economically, the crisis threatens everything from agriculture and manufacturing to energy production. Water is needed for cooling systems in power plants, for cleaning equipment, and for countless industrial processes. When water becomes scarce, factories reduce output or shut down entirely. This hurts jobs, reduces exports, and puts pressure on the national economy. Inflation rises, resources become more expensive, and the government faces growing demands for solutions. Another layer to this crisis is mismanagement. Decades of misguided policies, poorly planned dams, inefficient farming practices, and overuse of groundwater have accelerated the problem. Even when rainfall improves, the system is too damaged to recover quickly. Rivers that once flowed year-round now disappear for months. Lakes that once supported entire ecosystems have shrunk dramatically. Urban expansion has paved over natural recharge zones, preventing water from soaking into the ground. International factors also play a role. Water scarcity is becoming a geopolitical issue. In regions where rivers cross borders, disagreements over access and usage can spark diplomatic tensions. The Middle East already has a history of conflict, and adding water stress to the equation makes everything more fragile. While Tehran's water issues are mostly internal, the ripple effects could easily cross national boundaries. Despite all these challenges, solutions do exist. Technologies like desalination, wastewater recycling, modern irrigation, and smart infrastructure can make a significant difference. Countries like Israel, Singapore, and parts of the United States have successfully transformed their water systems through innovation and strict policy reforms. Iran has the potential to adopt similar strategies, but doing so requires investment, cooperation, and long-term planning. One promising solution is improving water efficiency in agriculture. If farms adopt drip irrigation instead of flood irrigation, water usage could drop dramatically. Restoring wetlands could help refill aquifers. Urban planning could incorporate more green spaces and permeable surfaces, allowing rainwater to soak back into the ground. Even small changes spread across millions of people can add up to massive savings. Another important step involves public awareness. Many residents are already aware of the crisis, but awareness doesn't always translate into action. Water conservation needs to become a lifestyle rather than a temporary response. Simple habits like reducing leaks, using efficient appliances, and limiting outdoor water use can make a meaningful impact when practiced widely. Renewable energy can also support water stability. Solar-powered desalination, improved energy grids, and infrastructure upgrades can ensure that cities continue to function without putting even more strain on limited water sources. These advances won't solve everything, but they are pieces of a much larger puzzle. Ultimately, Tehran's crisis illustrates a global truth. No major city is immune to environmental stress. Cape Town came dangerously close to day zero. Sao Paulo, Mexico City, and Los Angeles face similar risks. As populations grow and climates shift, cities need to rethink how they use, recycle, and protect their water supplies. Tehran may be one of the first large cities to face collapse from water scarcity, but if the world doesn't learn from this moment, it won't be the last. Every individual, government, and organization has a role to play. Water is not an unlimited resource. It is finite, fragile, and essential for life. When we ignore that reality, we move toward crisis. When we confront it together, we pave the way for stability and resilience. The story of Tehran is still being written. It can end in collapse, or it can become a powerful example of transformation. The outcome depends on choices made today, not tomorrow. This crisis is everyone's crisis, because water is everyone's responsibility. If you've watched to the end, thank you for taking the time to understand the urgency of this issue. The more we talk about it, the better chance we have at creating change. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay hopeful.